is a very hard video for me, and this video might be all over the place, but I still want to talk about this. So you probably write in the disclaimer that my father just passed away on April 30th, 2025. And even though all Muslims, in fact, not only Muslims, but everyone in this world knows that death is inevitable. So every soul has to experience death. Doesn't matter what religion you belong to, doesn't matter how old you are. Every soul has to taste death. And even though we're brought up with this concept and with this mindset our whole lives, we are always thinking, we're always told you have to, death is the end, right? But there comes a time where even though you know you have to die, but when it comes to a family member or somebody really close to you, when the event actually happens, it becomes extremely difficult to accept it. And if it comes to an individual person, like if I was to die today, I don't mind dying, right? Because it's me. I'm dealing with it. I'm going to be dead. I'm going to be leaving this world. But when it comes to other people in the family, and especially when you're like an adult. So right now I'm 38 years old. So the thing is, you've spent a lifetime with your parents, right? I've spent the maximum time with my father. Up until now, I was with my father. I was living with my father. But my siblings are married off. They have their own families. So when it comes to your own family, it becomes very difficult to accept the fact that they are actually gone, and you have all of these feelings that are going on in your mind. And this is the only feeling, the feeling of losing somebody in your family. This is the only feeling that connects everyone together because everybody's feeling is the same. Everybody is experiencing the same. So it is the same experience everyone has, and it is the only feeling that connects all of us together. So if somebody has had a death in your family, you know exactly what that feels like. So you can connect to somebody else who's currently dealing with it. And even though our creator has created this and our death is the end goal, like the end of our life, we don't realize this while we are living our day-to-day lives. Like we think that though there's still time, I will not lose my parent. It's mainly like losing somebody. It's not losing yourself. Like every day when I go to sleep, I always think about maybe I won't wake up tomorrow. Maybe today is my last day, right? So for me, that's okay. But losing a parent, it becomes a very very difficult situation. And even though people will tell you they're in a better place, their suffering has ended, all of these things, like my father was suffering a lot for the last 3 years, and it's good that his suffering has ended, but the feeling that I have of losing him, like not being here, not talking to him not asking us for specific foods because he was a foodie, he loved eating, and he always used to ask us for specific things. So we used to make it for him and we used to go visit him and we used to talk to him, and he was a very big storyteller. So just dealing with that feeling of loss, it becomes very difficult. And even though it becomes very difficult, at the same time there are people around you who have recently gone through this, like several months before, several weeks before, so they can connect with you. So I think this is like Allah's way of connecting people, um as well as us experiencing this temporary life. And even though I see this, I was at my dad's graveyard the day before yesterday, and even though we had buried him on the 1st of May, and when we went on the 2nd of May, it and I was standing there and I was praying for him, but it's hard to accept that they are actually underground, right? When you look at it, your brain doesn't register it. It is a feeling that changes you from inside. Like death, I realized that death changes people, and you become a completely different person within a very short period of time. And you realize that even though you knew that nothing is permanent in this world, but it hits you on a different level, and it changes you in a way where the feeling becomes inexplainable. You become a very mature and a very serious person in life, and it's Allah's way of making his person stronger. I feel like so I'll give you some backstory of that leads up to this whole event, and the way I'm trying to explain things, like I'm unable to put it into words, but I have the feeling in my heart. So basically, what was happening is my father had been really sick. He had diabetic wounds on his legs, so he was fine during that time until he had two strokes. So the first was a mini heart attack, uh, plus stroke. So when he was in the hospital, the doctor said that he had a heart attack plus stroke. But at that time, he was still fine. He was still walking. He was still able to talk. His speech was fine, right? So then, after treatment, when he came back home, after a few weeks, he had another stroke, and this stroke was even a worse stroke than the first one, and this left his right side paralyzed. And then he went to the hospital for treatment, and after his treatment, they sent him to the long-term care because he needed like a nurse 24/7, somebody to take care of him, give him medication, change him, and everything, right? So he was in the long-term care for 3 years, and during this period of time, we kept visiting him, talking to him on the phone. Every few days, he would ask for specific foods because obviously the long term care didn't have the kinds of foods that he likes. He was a very big foodie all of his life. And when he used to ask for specific foods, we used to give it to him. Like he loved his nuts, he loved his chicken biryani. He loved samosas, homemade samosas, not the store bought one. So it has to be everything has to be homemade. So he used to ask for specific things, and we used to meet him and we used to talk to him, and then he would tell us stories. In those 3 years, everything was going smoothly, right? And then Ramadan came this year, 2025. Ramadan came. And in Ramadan, things started to go downhill. So, first, he started to lose his memory. When I used to go meet him, I used to ask him, "Who am I?" And he used to say, "I don't know who you are." And then he used to say that same thing to my sister. He would talk, he would say something, and then in the middle, he used to forget what he was saying. And then his carbon dioxide started to increase in his lungs. During this time, because his carbon dioxide was increasing too much, we got him a BiPAP machine. And he was struggling to wear that BiPAP because the mask that they have is not comfortable. They put a strap around the neck, and then they put straps around the head and then around the chin. So obviously it's not comfortable. Any normal person even wouldn't wear that. Anyways, so he would wear it sometimes on and off, right? And when he would wear it, he would be fine. When he would not wear it, obviously then he felt lethargic. And then Ramadan, late Ramadan, like the last 10 days of Ramadan, he started talking about third world things. So he, for example, he started to say like he saw he was in a place and there was three gates, and then there was in those three gates there was one gate where people were throwing lots of stones, and then in the second gate he saw that there was people throwing lots of wood, and then in the third case he saw that people were throwing bags and bags of stones plus wood. So he was, when he was talking to me, he was saying that which one am I going to go into, and I told him like maybe you won't go into that, maybe you will have good things, you don't know that, right? So I told him to start reading his kalma, la ilaha illallah muhammadur rasulullah, and I told him like to just start reading Astaghfirullah Rabbi min kulli zambin wa atubu ilayh. Or if you can't read that, just read Astaghfirullah, 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 and just keep reading that. And every time I would meet him, I would go and make sure to make him repeat after me. So I would read these du'as and I would make him repeat after me. I would read durud and I would ask him to repeat after me, and he was really good with that, because even though he didn't remember us, he still remembered his zikr, which is a really good sign, because that means that he had done a lot of zikr in his life, right? So the other time when I met him, and he said that he was telling me, he was giving me advice, and he said that he in his imagination he made two thread rolls. So like thread rolls, you know, the ones that have like the thread around it. So two rolls like that. One had like the full thread, and then one had like the one piece attached to it, like the thread is attached to it, and that the whole roll is empty. And he said that in his imagination, in his tasawwur, he would read Allah Shafi, Allah Kafi, and he would roll the threads like that. So Allah Shafi, Allah Kafi, Allah Shafi, Allah Kafi, and this is spinning. The empty one is spinning until this the right from this one doesn't transfer onto this one. And he said that whenever he read that, he felt so much peace, and he felt like he's healing from inside, and he felt like all of his problems are disappearing. So I told him, like, if that's working for you, then that's good, then you should do that. And at that time, everything he was thinking about was about the third world, right? About the world that he has to go to. And even though he could not walk, his legs were completely done. He could not walk, he could not move them. Then one time he was telling us that he saw that he got up and he went to the market from across the street where his long-term care was, because it's his long-term care, right across the street is the mosque, and then right beside the mosque there are some stores. And my sister was there, and she was saying, okay, so what did you buy? Did you buy anything? And he said, yeah, I bought lots of things. And she said, what did you buy? And he wasn't answering, and then she's like, did you buy food? And then he started laughing. So that was the other thing. And then after that, he saw that he was in Jannat. And when he was in Jannah, was told to keep my mom, um, to keep her outside the door. And we asked him why, and he's like, because his instructions, the instructions that were given to him was that he can stay in, but she cannot come inside. And the concept behind that was, it's his time is coming. He was being shown that his time is coming, and his wife is still has to be here, so she cannot go with him. That was the concept behind this thing that he saw. And he said that he saw people in his room, and he still sees people in his room, and he doesn't know what they are, but they're really big and they're giant. So we knew that his time is coming, because when you are starting to see things in the room and they don't exist, that means you're starting to see angels, and they're calling you and they're telling you, okay, your time is up, you have to come. So at that time he kept saying that, I don't want to live, I need to go, I don't want to live, I need to go. And when we used to hear him say that, um we felt like it made us feel like that he is asking for us to finish him. But in reality, it was not that. If he was just communicating to us that the angels came and told him, okay, your time is up, and now it's time for you to go. And when this is all happening, right, you're not in that state of mind to think that these are warnings, right? Because we're human, we don't think like that, we don't live our lives like that. But these are all signs that are usually given before that thing happens. And then a few days just before he passed away, um, I used to feel really restless all night, because I was the most attached to him my whole life. Uh, I would try to sleep at night and I wouldn't be able to sleep, and I would struggle and I would stay up all night. So around 3:30 or 3 a.m., I would just get up and start praying. I would do my nafil salat, because I didn't know what's going on. I couldn't understand what Allah was trying to tell me, but this happened 3 days before. It started 3 days consistently, like every single day. And then I was sleeping from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then when the day he actually passed, which was April 30th, um, that whole night, I was so restless. I had this heavy feeling on my heart, and I couldn't understand what it is. And I kept turning and tossing and right and to left. And then I started to read the Quran, and I'm like, Ya Allah, I don't know what's going on. I cannot sleep. I'm really restless. What's happening? And then when I slept at 9 a.m. in the morning, at 9:30, my sister calls me and she tells me Dad is no more. And that was when I realized that Allah gives us signs, but we don't understand these signs. Um, every single day He gives us signs, especially to the person who is ready to go. But we don't live our lives like that to understand those signs. We don't see Allah's hand in all of our things. We don't see His signs in all of our daily life, in our daily tasks. We just go about our life unconsciously, living on autopilot, without realizing His signs are there, without realizing how He's helping us, without realizing how He sends people to us for our help. So I feel like this is something that we all connect to in some way or the other. Obviously, people who have not dealt with something like this will probably not understand it to that level, but eventually they will, because they will also have to face a parent going, a sister going, a daughter going, a brother going. a mother going, and it's always this immediate family, the one very very close to you, um that really changes you. Because sometimes what happens is, if it's like an uncle or an aunt or something like that, you probably don't feel it to that level. But if it's like one of your own, somebody who you spend the most time with, you've had fights, you've had arguments, you have good times, you have bad times. That's part of relationships. That's part of life, right? Life cannot be always sunshine and flowers. It doesn't work like that. Life is not like that. And if somebody is telling you it is like that, then they're lying to you. But still, at the end of the day, you still love them no matter what. You still think about them no matter what. And it's becoming very difficult to deal with it. And I'm not really sure how to deal with it. That's probably what I'm saying. I don't know how to deal with this. Um I know it's going to take a lot of time. I know it. I just don't know how long, and I don't know if it's actually going to heal or it's just gonna stay there and I'm just gonna have to deal with it forever. But I'm not looking for sympathy, I'm not looking for empathy, I'm not looking for pity. I'm just saying that when it happens, then you realize how death actually changes you, and how the whole life perspective changes, and how everything just shifts. And I think that's this whole scenario, death, and all of these things. I think Allah is preparing us for life, for a purpose in life, so that we are able to do something good with our life that can help change people's lives, that can improve a person's life in one way or another. Because when you improve somebody's life in some form or some way, then at least when you leave the world, somebody is going to be behind and say, oh, this person has changed my life. This person has improved my life. Because of this person, this happened, right? Something good that they can talk about. And even then, I'm still really grateful, because the day that my father passed away, his even though his room was really small, but the day he passed away, his room had so much light in it. We were surprised because outside the weather wasn't that great. But his room had so much light in it, and his room had doubled in size. And before, when we used to go and meet him, like, it was my whole family, and then my brother's family, and then my sister's family, right? So there was a lot of people standing there, plus the nurses, and there was not enough room usually in that room. But that day, his room had expanded, and there was so much light in his room. It was as if Allah had expanded that room with so much light. And naturally, when he died, his face was towards the Qibla. And that day, when we went to visit him, the whole parking lot was full. And it's usually never that full, because people don't visit at that around 11 a.m., 12 p.m., that time period. And but the whole parking was full, but there was nobody inside the building. So that time I told my mom that Allah has sent his angels. Allah has sent his angels to pray for him, and that's why the whole parking is full, and we never got parking, so we just had to park on the grass. And when we went inside, there was a tilawat. The tilawat was on, which we are extremely grateful for, because you don't expect this when you are living in a non-Muslim country. So there was tilawat on, and he had so much noor on his face. It was something that I will never forget my whole life. And he had a smile on his face, as if he was saying, I'm done, I'm free from life, and now I can live peacefully. And even though that is a really good feeling that he's happy, but at the same time, it's a heavy feeling that he's not there. And even though it's the body that faces, that deals with the death, and the soul just leaves, and the soul has experienced death, but the soul is not destroyed, but that feeling is still there, right? That heavy feeling is still there. That feeling of an emptiness, of him not being there, of not being able to talk to him. It's there. It feels different. And then the day of the funeral, he had so much noor on his face. Everybody kept coming and looking at him. And people thought that he had white powder on his face, but it was not powder. They had given him ghusl, and the ghusl went so smoothly, and we were told that there was no smell, and there was nothing, no bad odor, nothing, and there was a smile on his face the entire time, and he was faced towards the Qibla the entire time on its own from Allah. And what can you be more grateful for, right? That's He has achieved everything in life then, because there was so much nur on his face, there was a smile on his face. May Allah forgive him for everything that he's done, and did intentionally or unintentionally. And may Allah give him Jannatul Firdaus, the highest rank of Jannatul Firdaus. And the day of the funeral, people were constantly coming around his coffin and looking at him and saying, MashaAllah, Subhanallah. And it was such a proud moment, right? Something that when you are leaving this world, you feel proud that, okay, look, everybody's feeling happy for him. He has so much nur on his face. Allah's with him, and it's like a mix of feelings. And it's a good feeling and it's a bad feeling at the same time. It's something that you cannot explain. It's a feeling that even if you have a breakup or you go through a divorce or something like that, those feelings don't compare to this feeling. Right? This feeling is a completely different feeling, and you may feel a feeling like this if your pet dies, like when my pet passed away, my lovebirds passed away. Yes, we cried our eyes out, we cried a lot. My father cried too when he buried them, but that feeling and this feeling is completely different. It is not the same. And after that day, because I'm somebody who's constantly reading about Islam and who's constantly researching it, and my relationship with Allah is completely different from everyone else. Like, I feel things on a different level. I'm very spiritual, and spiritual and religious are two different things. We can discuss that in a later video, but I'm a very spiritual person. So after his burial, I started thinking, like, there's thousands of thoughts going in my mind. Okay, now he's gonna hear us walking away from the graveyard. He's gonna hear our steps, and then his Munkar Nakir is gonna come, and they're gonna start asking him these questions, and his body's gonna be set up. Like, I'm imagining all of these things in my mind, and I'm thinking, like, how is it gonna happen? Is he gonna have pain? Because he had a lot of pain on his legs, right? He had diabetic wounds. So there was a lot of pus and blood coming out of his legs all the time. So even if you would touch it, it would hurt him. So I was like, maybe it will hurt him, maybe he will feel the pain. I don't know. I was just having all of these feelings, and I was thinking about, like, this description of Munkar Nakir, that they will have glowing, glittering eyes as bright as the sun, and that their hammers are so heavy that if you take all the jinns of the world and all the people of the world, and even if they lift it, they won't be able to lift it. That's how heavy the hammer of Munkar Nakir is. And they have scary faces, and they're huge and they're gigantic. And I was like thinking all of these things, and I could not go home because of it. I was feeling sick to my stomach, like. And then at night when I was going to sleep, I couldn't sleep because I was feeling like my dad's calling me, and he's kicking and punching inside, and he was saying, take me out," and nobody's there to help him. And I was having all of these thoughts. So then the next day, I told my mom, like, why don't we just go to the graveyard, and just dig it a little bit, and move the cover on the coffin, and just see if he's okay. Maybe he might wake up. Maybe we don't know. Maybe he's still alive. It's not just with me, right? My whole family is feeling like this. And when he was put in the mosque in the cold room, it felt like maybe he's gonna move his feet and he's gonna wake up, because his left eye kept opening, and we kept closing his left eye, but it kept opening. So it becomes really difficult to understand and to process all of this. So I kept, like, putting my hand on his chest to check if his heart beats there, putting my hand under his nose to maybe he might be breathing. I don't know. It becomes very hard. Death really changes you into a different person. It makes you more serious. It makes you realize, like, even though you already know this world is temporary and everything, all the luxuries are temporary, and your end is in the grave, but it makes you feel on a different level. Like, I always used to tell my sister, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for my mom to go. And she always used to tell me, you have to be ready. But even though, no matter how much you prepare For your whole life, you're prepared for this. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Still, you're not prepared. It's just like, I don't know. I can't explain it. It's like when you're going through schooling and you're going to through university. Let's say you want to be a doctor and you're specializing and you're doing all of these things. You're preparing for it, right? You know that you have to do these surgeries. But then when you go into your first surgery, many people just faint or vomit, even though you've prepared for it for so many years, for 13, 14 years. So similarly, it's like you're preparing for your closed ones that you know your siblings or your father or your mother, they're going to go away, they're going to leave. But then after a certain period of time, when it actually happens, it hits you, and then you realize you're not prepared. You're not really prepared for this. Even though you've spent that time preparing, but you're still not prepared, right? I don't know if I'm making any sense. But like for my own dad, I'm prepared. Every night I go to sleep, I'm prepared. You want to take me, take me. I'm happy to go. Somebody like your mother, your father, your sibling, like if you are somebody who's currently going through this, you know exactly what I'm saying. You know exactly what I'm feeling. And this is why I'm making this video, that death changes people, is because you and I can connect. You know exactly what it feels like. I know what it feels like. We have that same feeling. We can connect just through this video. And maybe my video can help you in some way or form. Or maybe your comment can help me in some way or form. Or maybe just let me know in the comments down below what you did. Maybe to heal, if you healed or didn't heal. I don't know. I know people say to stay busy during the day. During the day, everything's fine, right? During the day, I'm working a lot. I focus on my business. But then, as soon as night hits, it's just this really heavy feeling. And I know, and I can feel my dad visiting us, because today I heard he had a habit of really knocking really, really loud to wake us up. So I had heard this knocking 10 in the morning, and it felt like he's visiting and he's saying, wake up, wake up. And then day before yesterday, my sister heard knocking on her home door. And when she heard knocking on the door, the kids also heard it. So then my nephew started crying. One is 7, one is 9. And they started crying a lot. Why did Nanabu go away? Why did he have to leave? Why did he die so early? So it's becoming very hard on the family. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm not asking for pity. I'm not asking for empathy, because I'm not the only one dealing with it. There's thousands and millions of people dealing with it. So people haven't even healed yet, and it's been more than 5 years. I just want you to know that I understand death changes people. It has definitely changed me and my outlook on life. And I just want to know that, I just want you to know that maybe I can connect with you in some way or form. I can feel what you feel, and I'm here for you. And maybe you feel some ease, or you can feel some strength from this video. And I'm just gonna end it here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna start rambling on, and it's not gonna make any sense. So I hope you heal, and I hope I heal. And through this time, with patience and with sabr, may Allah heal us and give us strength and help us realize that yes, this world is temporary, but at the same time, we have to take care of each other. We have to take care of ourselves. We have to work towards good deeds. Do more good deeds without expecting anything in return. Work towards Allah's happiness, his pleasure, and ask him to only take us when he is happy with us, when he is satisfied with us, when he has accepted our forgiveness. May he forgive everyone. May he forgive you and I. May he forgive all the deceased. And may he make things easy for us, make things easy for you, make things easy for me. May you find peace in your life, and happiness and abundance. May all your struggles grow. May all your struggles go away. May he make things easy for you. And may he make keep you on the straight path of the believers, the straight path of the people who love Allah and wants to walk towards Allah. Even the people who are looking into converting into Islam, may he give you light and give you the right path and give you patience.